Today on Newsbreak, breaking news, the sentencing trial for Parkland shooter Nicholas Cruz started just minutes ago. And that's not all we're working on this morning.
Americans digging into their savings.
Especially after COVID, nobody has money for anything, and now everything goes up higher and higher.
As inflation soars. Plus, the Marlins and the Phillies both looking for a win in their last game before the All-Star break. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Leon Abu Tarbouche.
I'm Michelle Morris. Today is Monday, July 18th, 2022.
Live from the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
We begin this morning's breaking news, the start of the sentencing trial for Parkland shooter Nicholas Cruz. The scheduled start time just about half an hour ago at 9 this morning.
You'll remember Cruz did not have a criminal trial because he pleaded guilty to all 17 counts of murder and an additional 17 counts of attempted murder. This video is from inside the courtroom just moments ago. Back on Valentine's Day in 2018, he entered the freshman building at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School and killed 14 students and 3 staff members. The jurors in this penalty phase will decide between life in prison and the death penalty.
A new report shedding light on the response to the Uvalde school shooting. As CNN Amy Cayley reports, the report emphasizes the lack of clear law enforcement command in a series of failures.
They were supposed to protect the innocents.
An overall lackadaisical approach with egregiously poor decision making. That's how this new preliminary report from a Texas House investigation describes the law enforcement response to the Uvalde school shooting. It also faults the school system, shooter's family, and social media platforms. Families were given access before its release.
Everybody's throwing everybody under the bus. The only ones that ain't under the bus is because they're 6 feet in the ground now.
The report repeatedly notes a lack of clear command during the shooting. It lists 376 members of law enforcement on scene, including many from federal agencies.
There was multiple opportunities, depending on the relative training and experience of law enforcement officers, to at least ask more questions.
Investigators didn't find any responders acted maliciously. In fact, these officers helped children and teachers escape.
I got another kid.
While the shooter was still active, others lacked key information.
What are we doing here?
If somebody knew there were victims in there being killed or dying and did not do more, I believe those agencies will have to find accountability for those officers.
The report gives families more answers, but little comfort.
She was just an awesome person. She was the light of my life.
I'm Amy Cayley reporting.
Wildlife officials are looking into a possible fatal alligator attack near Fort Myers. As reporter Lacey Lee tells us, the woman's body was found in a pond Friday.
Kurt Kaufman, who lives in the Boca Royale neighborhood, says the victim, Rosemarie Wiegand, was a sweet lady in her 80s.
She lives a couple doors down from me, and she would bring our trash cans up if we were out of town. Very kind. She always came up. She introduced herself when we moved in.
Sarasota deputies believe she fell into the water and then was attacked by 2 alligators.
In our community, there are a lot of alligators. We see them on the golfing greens. We see them in the ponds.
Well, I mean, it's pretty horrible. It's kind of shocking to think that that could actually happen. We see alligators from time to time, but never thought that anything like that could happen.
Around 8:15 Friday night, law enforcement officers found a body in a small pond on Cayman Isle Boulevard. Inglewood Fire says when they arrived, alligators were dragging the woman.
We came home from dinner last night, and there was people from the Wildlife Commission and police cars and searchlights going on.
Now residents say they are going to be more aware when strolling around in the neighborhood.
I certainly don't want anything like that to happen to any other folks that are here, and they just need to stay away from the lagoons, you know, if they see an alligator.
Right now, a medical examiner is determining the victim's exact cause of death. FWC and the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office are investigating.
That was reporter Lacey Lee. The medical examiner's investigation could show that the woman died of natural causes. One theory is that the alligators could have dragged her body into the pond after her death.
Today, Miami's Kodak Black, the rapper pardoned by President Donald Trump in his last day in office, is in legal trouble again. During a traffic stop on Friday, the Florida Highway Patrol found oxycodone, an expired driver's license, and nearly $75,000 in cash in the rapper's car. The rapper was released after bonding out of Broward County Jail over the weekend.
The Marlins will have a lot to think about over All-Star break after getting swept at home by the Philadelphia Phillies. The final score in yesterday's afternoon game is Phillies 4, Marlins 0. The Marlins only scored one run in the whole series. The All-Star Games is next, so the Marlins don't play again until Thursday, when they host the Rangers.
At the Red Lobster in Hollywood, staffers found a lobster of a different color.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
It's the first time in my life I've had to apply for food stamps because I don't know how we're going to continue eating groceries.
Inflation continues to strangle American budgets. Now savings accounts are starting to feel the squeeze. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Which camera? Sacrificing savings because of inflation? Americans having to put off plans for the future to pay for the present. This morning, Americans are forced to make difficult spending decisions as inflation hits a 40-year high.
Last month, inflation surged with some of the steepest price hikes from last year. A new polling shows that 42% of Americans are struggling to remain financially stable as gas and grocery prices continue to rise and salaries remain the same.
I'm not making ends meet. I'm not making it. I'm spending my savings. I get paid tomorrow and already my whole paycheck is spoken for. And it's the first time in my life I've had to apply for food stamps because I don't know how we're going to continue eating groceries.
One estimate shows that Americans are spending almost $500 more every month for the same goods and services.
Today, a super orange lobster remains safe from becoming seafood. The lobster was named Cheddar after the unusual coloring. Cheddar was found by workers at a Red Lobster in Hollywood. According to Ripley's, the chance of finding an orange lobster is just 1 in 30 million. Ripley's Aquariums now provides Cheddar with a home at its scientific research facility.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Michelle Morris.
I'm Leanne Abu Tarbouche. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.